everyone. Welcome to this edition of Easton Park Talk. I'm here with Jonathan F. Tink, the founder of the Dinner Club in Easton Park. Did you and your wife found it together?
We did. My wife Lauren and I are the ones that started it, I guess in February. It'll be 2 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
Very
we've been
cool.
here a while.
I love that. And so are you guys, is it only in your house, or do you go to multiple people's houses?
Well, when we started with the intention of going to other people's homes, but our home is just so well set up to have a lot of people and to entertain that our spot has become the go-to spot, and we're totally fine with that.
Okay.
But to answer your question, yeah, we have it at our house every time, and yeah, it's a great spot to have it.
So walk me through the first dinner club.
Sure, yeah.
And how many people to now?
So the first dinner club we had was almost 2 years ago in February.
Okay.
And we did Chinese Lunar New Year. So
cool.
We made dumplings, and, like any good teacher, I learned how to make dumplings about a week before. And then we decided that was cool, that was fun. And I think the first one we had probably around 10 or 12 people.
Okay.
And we have tried to have one at least once a quarter. Sometimes they just kind of happen within 2 weeks of me thinking, oh, this is a cool idea.
Yeah.
But, fast forward to now, and we had a pasta dinner party a few months ago. And like I was telling you off camera, that was around 50 people.
Wow.
So we've had very good luck with people coming. People keep coming, and we also have lots of newcomers each time.
That's exciting. It's such a great, one, like you said, a way to make friends, get to know your neighbors.
Yeah.
Very cool. And who doesn't like a good meal?
Exactly, yes.
With friends. So you are also doing, you taught people how to make pasta, or did you bring someone in to?
We didn't. One of the things that we are very upfront about is that none of us are professional chefs.
Okay.
We just have a passion for cooking, and we really like to experiment with techniques. In our free time, my wife and I, we're always cooking, always figuring out how to either improve or do something new.
Yeah.
And we have several friends that help us with the dinner party as well. Two friends or one friend that helped to teach, her name is Ann Simmons. She lives here in the neighborhood. And she loves to cook, she loves to bake, and loves to make pasta. So we thought she's the perfect person to teach. So Anne and Lauren were the teachers. Awesome. I was the teaching assistant. I walked around and made sure everyone had flour, eggs, and, they were doing a good job. But yeah, that's just something that we always have thought about bringing someone in, but we really like that everyone is on the same level, and we don't want it to be so professionalized that it excludes anyone. We make mistakes, and we own up to them, and sometimes mistakes are fun to make.
Yeah, that's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So 50 people in your home making pasta. How do you coordinate and organize that?
So very carefully, what we did was we had we bought a camera stand off of Amazon.
Okay.
And it was for a cell phone. We attached that to our counter, and then we live fed the streaming of everyone, of Ann and Lauren making pasta onto our living room television.
Okay.
We had 3 8-foot tables set up. And yeah, I see the pictures right now on the screen in front of me. We had a table set up, and everyone followed along, followed directions. If you couldn't see Ann and Lauren, you looked at the television. We kept it simple.
Cool.
No, intricate shapes. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun, and we went slowly. And we also said that, you could come for the pasta making. If you didn't want to come for that and you just wanted to come and eat, come an hour later.
Okay.
So there were probably 30 people that made pasta, 50 that were there also to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone to the eating side, although it would be very cool to make pasta.
It was. And we let everyone, just for the sake of hygiene and, keeping things clean. If the pasta you made, you got to take it home.
Oh, cool.
And then we had pasta that we had made, and we made that instead of, I just didn't want a lot of people, to get sick, lots of hands in the pasta.
A lot of hands.
Exactly.
A lot of hands. So they made the pasta for themselves, and then they took that
They
raw
did.
pasta home.
Yep.
And then you all had made a bunch of pasta prior.
We had, yep.
Awesome. I saw Carolina in one of those pictures, I think. I love her.
Carolina comes to every single dinner party.
Yeah.
And I love it because Carolina, I don't know if you know this, but she speaks French.
I did not know that.
She does. And I speak probably a little bit above tourist French. Like I can, get around pretty much in a French speaking area, but she and I speak in French at a lot of the dinner parties, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you know Fabian de Roli.
I don't.
Fabian comes to our dinner parties. He also speaks French. So we have like this little French triplet that we just kind of walk around and speak French to each other, and it's nerdy, but it's really, really fun.
That is so cool. So have y'all done a French cuisine?
We have, yes. I unfortunately was out of town for that one, but we had around 30 or 40 people at that one.
Okay.
We had a neighbor who acted as a sommelier to come in and to talk about affordable French wines. We had all sorts of just good French cuisine, from like cassoulet to, gâteaux and everything in between.
Okay.
But yeah, it was for a very belated Bastille Day. Bastille Day's in July, but we had ours in September.
Okay, that's okay.
We still celebrated Bastille Day.
Hey, better late than never.
Exactly.
So very cool. What else have y'all done?
We just finished up Oktoberfest. That was last weekend.
Fun.
That was very fun. We had someone in the neighborhood. His name is Michael Zimmerman, and he made homemade sauerkraut. It was very good. He also for every kitchen gadget that Michael has, he also has a tech gadget. Okay. So he 3D printed a lot of decorations for us, pretzels and homemade coasters that said EP Dinner Club Oktoberfest. What? So yeah, that was really cool. And then Oktoberfest was great. We had German beer, German music playing. But we've also done Diwali.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun. We have done really just lots and lots of different cuisines, lots and lots of different cultures. And, one of the things that we are really careful about too is I'm as white as they come, and we're always very cognizant of not wanting to put on anything that is too whitewashed. So
love that. We
always have someone like with the Diwali celebration. There were two of our friends that they're Indian, and we said, this is what you celebrate. This is how you celebrate it.
Awesome.
Take the reins. Tell us what to do, and we'll do it. And we did, and it turned out amazing. That had probably 40 to 50 people attending.
Awesome.
And yeah, it was so much fun. And it was, I like to do that because I learned so much more giving the reins to someone else and saying, this is your party, your culture. You're simply using our home to have it.
That's awesome. And I think that it's so cool. And just whitewashed or what, just we don't know that culture. I don't know, and it's just so cool. And we think we might Google and say, what is Diwali? But it's so not the culture. And I think that that's the coolest part. Mm-hmm. And food for any culture is so important, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's and especially in these multi-generational family cultures where it's totally normal to live with to have grandparents and parents and kids and living on food is where they all come together and I just find it so beautiful. And I think that's so cool that y'all are very much leaning into the culture side of it.
So his name is Sandeep Bal. He lives here in Easton Park.
Okay.
And he and his partner JD, they are the ones that helped us to do the Diwali celebration. But you're talking about family, and you're so right. We got to be really good friends with JD and Sandeep, and they adopted 3 children.
Okay.
And so JD's mom and dad live in Houston. Okay. And so they, when the babies came to Austin, JD's mom and dad actually stayed with us in our casita for about a month or two to help the new parents settle in and take care of 3 small, tiny humans.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we knew JD and Sandeep before then, but like the dinner party brought us really close and close enough to say, yeah, we've got space for your mom and dad to stay, and they did. They stayed with us for about 2 months.
That's really awesome. Mm-hmm. So do they live close to you?
JD and Sandeep, they live in or have a home in Easton Park in Union Park West.
Oh, okay.
Those neighborhoods are really hard for me to remember
same.
which.
Yeah, there's so many now. No, that's so great. So they, stayed with you all and your casitas, so they had their own.
They had their own space.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of friends. Steve and I moved here 6 years ago, and the first club that we joined was the dinner club. Like we'll call it like I don't know what to call it. It was the first dinner club, and it was when there was only like it was Bryant Park and Nob Hill. Mm-hmm. And that was it. And like, we didn't really know anyone in the neighborhood. And we went to, I don't remember how we got into it. I probably just saw it on Facebook. And we made some of our best friends that we're still very, very good friends with from, there's just something about sharing a meal that is so special. And Steve and I had some, I like to cook sometimes. Yeah. Not all the time, but there was one dinner club where we started doing them once the union was built. We were like, okay, we were doing it we would go to people's homes. And someone would host, each, would we do them every month? I don't remember. I think it was every month. But every month someone else would host, and it became, which was cool because back then, everyone wanted to see each other's houses and like, it was really cool. But then once the union was built, it was like, okay, let's all go to the union. Not, cleaning. It's a lot to host people, which is fun, but it is also a lot. But they had pizza night, and and it was great, and so people took it very, very seriously, and made their own dough. Like it was very cool. But Steve and I don't remember what we were doing, but we were late, and making bread is hard. And so we picked up, because we were late. We wanted to go there, wanted to support Martha, as we love to do. We picked up Papa John's pizza on the way, and we walked in, and everyone was very cool about it, but we were kind of like, oh my gosh, we really, we should have we could have done a nicer pickup pizza, but we wanted to be there.
Well, sure, yeah.
And it was cool. And the pizza everyone else made was much better than.
And that's something that, we are always adamant about when inviting people, because we say dinner club, and a lot of people think, oh, well, I have to be a cook to come. Yeah. Or I have to make something that's amazing. No, you don't. You do not have to make anything to come. Cool. If you like to eat, you can come. And I am a huge proponent of, the 5-star restaurant that serves amazing food can be just as good and is just as good as a McDouble from the McDonald's that's about to open in Easton Park. Yeah. Like, food snobbery is just, it's not welcome in my life. Like, I love that. Yeah, like, haute cuisine can be just as good as fast food. Yeah. So I would have looked at your Papa John's pizza and said, okay, fair game.
Love it.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone was. We just both were just like, oh my gosh. But no, it is cool to be very inclusive. And I do remember, like, there was a turning point where people would make some, like, very complex, always delicious. And there's other people who are like, I don't cook. But it was always, I think there's something about, like, people who want to invite people into their homes and feed them that it's like, no, just come eat. There's, of course, plenty. Don't feel obligated to do or make anything.
And we always make sure to, and this is something new for Lauren and I, is that we have met a lot of people who are gluten-free, who are dairy-free, who are vegan. And, that is not something that Lauren and I ever had in our life before, any friends like that. Yeah. So it's been a really fun challenge for us to incorporate vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free items into every menu that we have. Awesome. So if you're worried about you're not going to have anything to eat, don't, because we always make sure that there are options for nearly every dietary need.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you guys are... it's about the food and it's about the dinner, but it's really about inclusion and people.
Right. Absolutely. Like we have a very good friend that lives here in Easton Park, and she, for her health, went vegan. And she was active in dinner club, and then she kind of didn't come because she didn't want to be a burden, I guess, because, you know, we would have to make vegan things and switches. And I was just very honest and said, it's not hard at all to do that for you. And we enjoy doing it. So yeah, we try to be as inclusive as we can, that everyone can eat and come and have friendship and good food.
I love that. So when's the next dinner club and what is the theme, if you know?
So we are going to do a cookie exchange.
Oh, right. Okay.
And that is going to probably be in December.
Love it.
We are going to announce it on our Facebook page.
Okay.
I'm not sure when the date is. I am a type of personality that I'll get it in my head and just run with it and just hope that the date works out. So I've been told by my wife and Trent and Ann, who I was talking to you about, they help us set the dates. I have to run it by them first because they're the more like, you know, calendar minded type A personalities. I'm definitely a type B personality. Just kind of roll out of bed and see what happens during the day, you know.
Like it.
But I'm thinking probably December that we'll have the cookie exchange. And then in November, we are trying to put together something that I kind of alluded to on the Facebook page, but that is about making a Thanksgiving meal and a class. Because we are in our home kitchen. We will have to limit it to 10 people, but we've had lots of interest. Everyone's just kind of waiting on a date, and we told everyone we were going to tell one in November.
Cool.
But this is really aimed at people who maybe this is your first time making Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just hate making Thanksgiving dinner and you would rather do it with friends and get it ready with other people instead of doing it all yourself.
Yeah.
So I think what we're going to do is have a menu. We will purchase, you'll purchase a ticket. That ticket will include all the food that you'll need. We'll go out and buy that.
Cool.
You'll come. Everything will be prepped, ready to go. And then you won't cook it at our house. You'll prep it.
Love it.
And then you'll take it home and we'll walk you through how to cook it, when to put it in, how to course out your meal, when to put it in the oven to have the perfect Thanksgiving dinner.
I love that. It's hard.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It's really like I was talking to my aunt today. We're gonna host at our house, and it's kind of become a trend to host Thanksgiving here, which I love. And people are like, you know, do you want us to bring anything? And I'm like, really, no, like, because it's a system, like, and the timing is a thing. But the first Thanksgiving that we did, it was before we moved into this house, so we were renting while this was building, while we were building this. And we didn't end up eating until like 9:30 because like it was I had never done it, you know, and it's like it really is this very systematic thing of like, and you only have one oven, like where you have to cook all this stuff. It really is like it's a strategy game.
It is, and you know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was actually thinking today. Our home has double ovens.
Love it,
and I thought I'm not going to do that because a lot of people don't have double ovens.
Right.
So we're going to course this out using only one oven so that everyone knows how to do it, how to combine different dishes in the same oven, you know, to cook them and get them perfect.
Right.
Because, you know, again, like if cooking isn't that important to you, if you just cook to live and that's it, then you probably do only have one oven.
Right.
So, you know, we're going to really take that into account that not everyone has lots of kitchen gadgets and lots of ovens because a lot of people don't want that.
Right. Well, and it's I think our neighborhood, it's such a diverse neighborhood in cultures, but it's also a diverse neighborhood in age. And there is a lot of young families that probably could be hosting for the first time. And I think that, like, I remember me, I was like, how hard could it be? It's just like a turkey. And but it is hard.
It is difficult for sure. And it's very intimidating to look at your first turkey and to think, what do I do with this thing?
It's so gross.
Yeah, like how do and not even that when it's raw, but then when it comes out of the oven, you're like, okay, now what do I do with it?
Right.
So we're gonna go through carving a turkey. We're gonna go through how to take a turkey apart, what to do with the carcass to make a stock or anything like a soup. So yeah, it'll be a good time.
That's amazing. That's so exciting that y'all are doing that. I have to ask you, what's your favorite way? Like, how do you do your turkey?
Traditional.
Okay.
A big buttered bird.
A big buttered bird. I love
so Anthony Bourdain said that for Thanksgiving, and I agree with Anthony Bourdain on this 100%. You don't do anything weird. Mm-hmm. You have 364 days the rest of the time.
Right.
To experiment, to do weird stuff, to do wonderful stuff that's weird. But Thanksgiving, it's traditional, and it needs to be a traditional meal. And that's stuck with me for a lot of years. Okay. So it's literally some herbs, salt and pepper, and a lot of butter.
Love that. You can never have too much butter.
No, never, ever. Mm-mm.
No, it's I've learned, and this might be a shortcut really now. Mm-hmm. I do a pretty good turkey, but I do the brine, but it's still very like, I agree with you. Thanksgiving to me is like very like traditional food. Doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be this crazy stuffing with all this stuff. Like just the traditional stuff. I love it. But I love a brined turkey. It's the only way I don't dry it out when I cook it. And it's just like, it's so easy. You just put that sucker in ice and salt and all the stuff you put in it, and then
it is. And I would implore you to try a dry brine. Do you do a dry or a wet brine?
Only wet.
Dry brines are so much easier.
Really?
They're so much tastier. The skin will crisp up and be amazing.
Okay.
Get rid of your brine bucket.
Okay.
Get just a sheet pan and a wire rack. So much kosher salt that you think it's too much.
Yeah.
Let it set 24 hours, maybe 48, and then you're good to go.
You just how do you do? You just put salt, the kosher salt, all over it?
Put the kosher salt all over it. I mean, not so much that it looks like it fell into a pile of snow.
Okay.
But, enough that it seems like it's too much.
It always seems like it's too much, and then
it does.
You're not cooking it, you wash it.
And kosher salt is very forgiving salt.
Right.
And you salt the inside, the outside, under the skin, let it set, like I said, 24 to 48 hours. And it's so much easier, and it's so much tastier, and the meat is so much juicier.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll do a practice run. Do you think I could practice on like a chicken?
So what I would say is get some really thick chicken breasts.
Okay.
Or get some really thick pork chops.
Okay.
And do a dry brine on those for maybe an hour in the refrigerator and just coat them in kosher salt. Let them set for an hour.
Okay.
And then don't even wash them off.
Really?
Don't wash them off. Just keep them. Cook them in a pan with some butter. And then obviously don't add any more salt.
Yeah,
be able to eat it.
Right.
You'll be amazed at the magic of salt.
Yeah, it's amazing. Even with the wet brine, like the first turkey I did, they were like, don't add any more salt. Like dump it, rinse it. You're not rinsing off the salt. And I was like, I feel like I rinsed off all the salt and I salted it. And you couldn't eat it.
Oh no!
Like it was just so salty. But that's how you learn, you know. Yes, never. Once
you have to have a few terrible dishes to know how to make a really good dish. Because sucking at something is the first step at becoming really good at something.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's a really good segue because, like, spoken like a true teacher, what do you outside of the dinner club? What do you do in the world?
So I teach political science.
Okay.
I am an instructor of political science at the University of Missouri St. Louis.
Awesome.
So my area of interest is international relations. So cool. I don't do a lot of American politics, which right now I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
My friends want me to talk about American politics, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, you can turn on the news and listen to that. But yeah, I love teaching, and I've really incorporated a lot of the strategies that I use in my, college classroom into teaching people how to cook.
Yeah.
Because, I hope to be a lifelong student. Even, when I'm old and gray, I still want to be learning things.
Yeah.
And cooking really allows me to do that. And it allows me to do it in not politics and not learning about government and learning about something that's new to me. So I really, really enjoy it. And I really enjoy teaching too. So teaching political science, that's my jam. And then on the side, I run this fun little dinner club.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long have you been teaching?
Since 2016.
Okay.
So yeah, about 8 years?
That's awesome.
So yeah.
And before that, what were you?
Before that, I worked at a healthcare company, still with students though. I was doing clinical internships and helping with placing like physical therapy students, occupational therapy students.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And then after that, I worked a little bit at Panera Bread at a call center. It was one of the funnest jobs I've ever had.
I can't tell if you're joking.
I am not joking.
You loved it?
It was very fun.
Okay.
If I could make decent money at it, I absolutely would go back and do it. We had a lot of fun.
Okay.
And in St. Louis, where I'm from, it is not Panera. It is St. Louis Bread Company.
Oh, okay.
That's where it started. And if you call it Panera, people get really upset. I just had to throw that in there.
That's good to know.
Because some of my St. Louis folks might see this and be like, why is he calling it Panera?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Bread Co. Actually, if you want to be like a native St. Louis.
Bread Co.
Call it Bread Co. Yeah.
They have great bread.
They do.
The bagels, I mean.
And did you know too that in St. Louis that you slice your bagel at Bread Co. a different way than you slice it here?
No.
You get it bread sliced. So here's the round bagel, right? Instead of slicing it this way, you slice it like a loaf of bread. And it's called bread slice. And that's how anyone in St. Louis, if you go into Bread Co. and get a bagel, that's how you get your bagel sliced, is bread sliced.
But what if you're doing bagels and lox?
Same way. It's like little bagel nachos.
That's a brilliant way to.
Yeah.
The bite size.
They're bite
like a
size.
perfect bite every time.
And then
You don't get a face full of the schmear.
you do, but it's okay.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess if you're not messy, you're not eating.
Exactly right. And you can always just carry a wash rag with you.
Of course.
And, just wipe off all the cream cheese.
Bread Co.
Yeah, it's Bread Co.
Okay.
And then
I love
after that, I went from Panera Bread Co. I lived and worked in Washington, D.C. in foreign policy for a little bit.
Very cool.
So I've just kind of been all over. I think we're on this world to experience cool things and to have cool experiences.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to pigeonhole myself into one thing.
That's awesome.
So I do what I like and do what I love. And right now it is dinner club and teaching politics.
Okay. And teaching politics, you've been doing it for 8 years. I mean, you see something after that for you, or maybe not?
I don't know.
Yeah.
As I told you, I am a very much type B personality.
Okay.
I do things until they don't interest me anymore.
Okay. That's awesome.
This dinner club, I can see it's going to interest me for a very long time. I love
great.
it. And teaching, I see it's going to interest me for a very long time. So I don't really see myself doing anything different.
Right.
No, I love it. I love what I do. I love the life that I have. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm content.
Congrats.
Yeah.
I feel like in Easton Park, we're very lucky. That seems to be the trend with the people that live in Easton Park. There's not a lot of people worried about work on Monday or,
right.
Normal stress, normal work stress. But I think we're all really lucky to be around other people who kind of have this same lust for life and excited to just what's going to happen tomorrow. Who knows? It's probably going to be good.
Absolutely.
Which is very cool. And then we have these clubs, and I love Easton Park a lot because of the clubs. And Steve and I have, and I say Steve and I, Steve has started many clubs in Easton Park. Some have, like poker clubs started.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Steve started the poker club 5 years ago or so. And we were talking earlier, like it's not a simple thing to start a club. And it, there's some upfront cost for the people who are starting the club, whether it be food, poker chips. We also did a networking, like a professional speakers club for a while that,
neat.
To get people to come. We were like, hey, we'll have drinks and snacks and come over and, do this and listen to professionals talk. And it was fun while it lasted, but it's not a simple thing to keep going. And it is, you're volunteering your time, you're volunteering your funds. You're working with the HOA, which is honestly the HOA. I have nothing but great things to say.
Sure.
They've been incredibly great to work with. We work closely with Paul. The Music in the Park, the concerts that get put on, that's Steve and I, and we're the Music in the Park Club.
Oh, awesome.
And it's just really, really cool to work with them. And they're so, we used to joke that like before Paul, there was Colette, Colette Cosby, who's absolutely wonderful. And we used to joke that she would like do these little activations and that the people living in Easton Park were her Sims. And so she'd like do these things and then we'd all like go out to her, event. And it still feels like that, but in a really like, not in a weird way, but in a really, really good way.
For sure.
And the community here is just awesome. So
it is. And, the HOA, we, knock on wood, have never had any problems.
Yeah.
Everyone has been extremely nice.
yeah.
Just Easton Park in general, we have not met one person who I would say, oh, I don't think I like them. Like everyone has been very nice and everyone has been very welcoming to us. I hope that we have been welcoming to everyone
You're
as
opening
well.
your home to 50 people at a time. Like,
we are, and we love it. So,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. This is the neighborhood to come to if you want friendship. And you had spoken a little bit a while ago about the different age ranges of. I just want to tell a short story if I can.
Yeah, of course.
Our not very first, maybe like the third dinner party, we had some neighbors from down the street. Their names were Paula and Jean Quinlan. Paula and Jean are retired U.S. Army. They are both colonels. They served in Vietnam. And they came and they were by far, and they would be the first to tell you this, two of the oldest that were there at the dinner party. And we didn't really know how to interact with them because we thought, I hope that they're okay with like people younger than them. I hope that they don't, I hope they're not bored. I don't know what they're going to want to talk about.
Right.
We've ended up, they have become some of our best friends here in Easton Park.
Oh, cool.
Paula and Jean are great. They come to every single dinner party.
Awesome.
At Oktoberfest, they came in a Drindle and Lederhosen that they bought. Yes.
That's
and
amazing.
We have St. Patrick's Day. So Jean is a dual citizen of Ireland and America.
Okay.
They have a home in the west of Ireland.
Okay.
Jean comes and makes Irish coffee. About a half of one, and you can't see anything or hear anything because you're on the floor.
Love it.
But they're very good. And we've become such close friends with them. They invited us over to Ireland when they go to stay in their home. And so I think this neighborhood, telling that story, the reason being is it really breaks down a lot of stereotypical walls to have all of these clubs, to be involved in all of these clubs.
Yes.
And, I think that Paula and Jean, when they came, I hope that they weren't as apprehensive about coming as we were about making them happy.
Yeah.
I don't think they were, but we just wanted everyone to feel inclusive. And now Paula and Jean are like, they are a staple of coming. And we love them. They're great. They're part of the fabric of what makes Easton Park so cool.
That's awesome. It's someone said it the other, it was actually Martha. We were talking to her and it's, you kind of choose your family at a certain point in your life, and there's so much chosen family. Like Martha we were joking the other day and I was like, I was introducing her to someone. I don't remember who it was. And I was like, this is like family, but she's a friend. We were neighbors, but we're friends, but she's like family. And it was so funny because, it was like, you really do pick your family. And we met Martha through the dinner club. And I think there's just something about people who want to share a meal together.
Yeah.
And it's just special. It's special time. It's how you connect. And I think that is so cool about Easton Park.
For sure. We have made, I know you all were talking off camera about making friends through the clubs, and probably 95% of the friends that we have right now, we've made through Dinner Club.
Yeah.
And, I just can't imagine what life would be like without that one little idea that just flew through my head 2 years ago of, let's celebrate Lunar New Year. let's do something fun. I'll post it on Facebook and see if anyone will come.
Yeah.
And now it's turned into our Facebook group has almost 400 members.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
I think 400 members and you're getting 50 people every event. I mean,
That's a great turnout.
To me, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Well, okay, so you're hosting in your home. So talk us through like your builder. What was the build process like? What neighborhood are you in?
Yeah, so we live on right at Apogee, where it's kind of like both Kiki and Skyline. I think technically we're in Kiki.
Okay.
We live in a Lanai 2 by Pacesetter.
Okay.
So that is the floor plan that has the main house, and then we've got a casita, which is basically just a huge giant hotel room.
Yeah.
That's where we stick family.
Okay. Perfect.
And then above our garage, we have a totally furnished big apartment, an additional dwelling unit, ADU. And we have lots and lots of outdoor space. We have this big courtyard area where when we have dinner parties and the weather's nice, it spills out onto the courtyard area. And we really like our home because we are both from St. Louis, Missouri. And when family comes, everyone can have together time. And then afterwards, everyone can go to the casita, to the apartment, to, we have a small sitting room / library in our bedroom. We go there and kind of relax because everyone loves family, but you also need your alone time.
Right.
Yeah. And then in the morning, we all congregate back into the main house area and we're together again all day. And it's wonderful to recharge, to have these separate spaces to recharge.
Right.
And then to come back. And even though the house is split into 3, we have room for 50 people in our home.
Right. That's amazing.
We love our home. We love the build. The sales rep that sold it to us, his name is Garrett. He doesn't work at Pacesetter anymore, but we really love Garrett. We actually became friends with him outside of Pacesetter. Awesome. So, yeah, he's moved on to, I think, bigger and better things. But, yeah, I mean, Pacesetter, it was a very good process to go through.
Nice.
And, yeah, we've had no issues with our home. Yeah, it's been great.
We know Garrett. So
do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, just because we were deciding this is a Dreamfinder's home and we were building, he was selling Pacesetter.
Yeah.
And we really liked Garrett, but
we do too. Yeah.
He is so great. We just, the house that we had dreamed that we were talking about, we walked into this one and we were like, where the model down, this is slightly different, but same concept. We were like, this is the house. We were like, Garrett, sorry. But he was so great.
Garrett is great. Garrett
he's still fine.
He is.
He is
well,
great.
Don't let it get to his head though. I'm going to show this to him and make sure he knows that he's got to be kept in his place. No, he is great. And he and his wife Nicole had a baby about a year and a half ago.
Oh, very cool.
So we go down to Kyle and see them and see the baby.
That's great.
Yeah, so we still see Garrett a lot, and he's a new dad now. So like he's at work or he's at home with the baby. So we have to go see him.
Where he should be, both
exactly.
Both of those places, respectively. That's great. That's really good.
Garrett also Garrett makes the best pizza I have ever had.
Whoa, those are fighting words. I'll tell you why in a little while.
I will vouch for Garrett's pizza. Garrett has spent a lot of money.
Okay.
Garrett spent a lot of time. I walked into his house a couple weeks ago. There was a gigantic 50-pound bag of flour.
Okay.
I said, you got to explain this. What is this? So this is a food service flour.
Okay.
That is only available on the East Coast. It's not special. Like it's not 00. It's not grown in like the wheat fields of northern Italy. It's like it's like Cisco flour, only it's on the East Coast. And he said, I've been researching this, and like every pizzeria in New York and Jersey, this is what they use.
Oh, he is like into it.
He's into it.
Okay.
And I gotta say, like in his spare time, he is making pizza. And he makes so much of it that Nicole told him, she's like, you're going to have to stop. This house can't smell like pizza anymore.
Oh, dang.
So he didn't stop, and I'm thankful that he didn't because, yeah, it's I would buy a pie from him for $20 and not even bat an eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
Is that
should
good?
have him. So there's some people in Easton Park who. So we do this thing called food talk, and you'll do it also after
Okay.
this. It's
Okay.
very fun. You're actually probably the most qualified to
Okay.
to do food talk. Now that we're talking about dinner club, but there are some people. So Mike Yeager, who you may know,
Yeah.
and Dusty Miller, are big time pizza people. Who's the other one that we just talked to that was big into pizza?
One of the enamel dental doctors.
Oh, what Enamel Dental? Who's going to be? Yeah, Dr. C loves
really?
pizza. So, it's Enamel Dentistry is coming. They're going to be right next to the Frost Bank building.
Oh, cool.
And the two doctors who started that 8 or 10 years ago came and chatted with us on last Friday.
Oh, neat.
And they're going to be great. They're
Okay.
so cool, so very nice, super down
Awesome.
to earth. And Dr. C, it loves pizza also.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm sure Garrett's pretty busy, but if he wanted to like bring some pizza up to Easton Park and sell it, people would go nuts.
Garrett absolutely would. I think like the dream for him is to have his own restaurant. And
Oh, that's so cool.
it is. And I really, some people, they say that and you're like, oh, that's good. Just stay at your day job. But that's cool that you want to do that.
Sure.
But Garrett, I mean, he's like, I'm not just saying this because he's my friend, but his pizza is by far better than maybe half or 3/4 of the pizza places I have been to in Austin.
What makes it so amazing?
Constant experimentation of the dough.
Okay.
He also has a professional grade pizza oven outside.
got it.
And like he is cooking this stuff like a real pizzeria. And he has experimented with his dough so much with letting it cold rise, hot rise, adding oil, not adding oil. The crust really is what makes it. And his crust it's charred on the bottom.
Okay.
It's not charred on the top. It is pillowy in the crust. It is crunchy on the crust that is like under the topping. And it's everything, like every bite is what that part of the crust should taste like.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like that
Yes.
sounds amazing. Is it, since he's trying to do East Coast pizza, is it like a fold and eat kind of pizza, or like,
It's not. It's more of like a Neapolitan style. Neapolitan meaning like probably this big, like, a 12-inch pizza.
okay.
It is not the big like home slice, like you can fold it in half.
Right.
And it's not as thin as home slice. It is a little bit thicker, but it's also, like I say, it's not so thick that it's like a Detroit style.
Got it.
It's when you think of pizza, it's what pizza is. It's
my
like
gosh.
just a Neapolitan style 12-inch, amazing, cheesy. I don't have enough adjectives to tell you how good it is.
It sounds amazing. And
Yeah.
like so people, again, we haven't planned for this pizza situation to happen on the podcast. But the pizza topics, like, they get very passionate and aggressive about like Detroit style versus like the New York floppy pizza versus all the other stuff. And it would be,
Well, and there's St. Louis style too, and that will beat any pizza ever that's been created.
okay.
But I'm from St. Louis, so of course I'll say that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So if we had like a pizza off, like if we ordered pizza, maybe you could get we would be happy to support Garrett's journey.
Garrett would be here in a heartbeat if you asked him to come.
Okay, well that would be great. And then maybe I would volunteer to be a judge. Would you volunteer to be a judge?
Absolutely. As long as we can sneak in just for fun a St. Louis style pizza. And I'm happy to tell you what that is if you want to know.
I do want to know.
So we could have like a battle royale. That would
Yeah,
be so much
pizza
fun.
battle.
Yeah.
Love it.
But yeah, one of the things that St. Louis is famous for is our pizza.
Okay.
And it is, you either love it or it's the most disgusting thing you've ever put in your mouth. So
Okay.
let me explain it to you, okay? So start off with a cracker thin crust
Okay.
that is thinner than thin. Like you turn it sideways, you can't see it. All right,
Okay.
that thin.
I'm not with you yet. but-
Okay,
Okay.
it gets better.
Okay.
Then on top of that, you're going to put probably just a notch down from like a sugary dessert style tomato sauce. Not dessert, but it's really sugar and really sweet tomato sauce.
Okay.
So you got that on there. Then for the cheese, this is where St. Louis excels in every way possible. It's called Provel cheese. It is 100% fake. It is 100% plastic. It is a mix of provolone, mozzarella, and cheddar that is processed cheese food.
Okay.
It's also smoky. So
You just said processed cheese food.
it is. Yeah, it's not cheese. It's cheese food. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
That melts into. Have you ever microwaved cellophane or plastic wrap too long and it like sticks? So that's what the cheese does to the crust.
Okay.
And then after that, you usually top it with pepperoni and bacon, but you have to do strips of bacon. Can't
like a
be
whole strip?
Whole strips of bacon. Paper thin. You know, like the Hormel microwave bacon?
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay.
That's it.
It's the
That's a
classiest
St. Louis
pizza I've ever heard of.
And you don't cut it into triangles either. You cut it into squares like a tavern pizza.
I'm going to be real honest with you.
Okay.
I feel like all of that separately would probably be bad, but like together, is it like a special? I mean,
Oh, it's a St. Louis delicacy.
okay.
And if you're not from St. Louis, 9 times out of 10, you're going to hate it.
I don't know. I mean, we're looking at it. Looks pretty good. I like a thicker crust. Detroit style is. I mean, you can only eat it so much because it's so much bread.
Right.
But like, I don't know. I mean, it's how you're talking about it.
It's so Central Market sells it. They sell St. Louis style pizza. It's called Dogtown Pizza.
Okay.
And Dogtown is a neighborhood in St. Louis, an Irish neighborhood. And there's Dogtown Pizzeria in St. Louis, and they sell those pizzas at Central Market. So if you want to taste this deliciousness, then you can go to Central Market.
And Central Market makes it like you just talked about?
They do, yep.
And you can attest it's pretty close?
It's extremely close. Now, the OG is called Emos, IMOS.
Okay.
Emos invented Provel. Emos is the OG St. Louis style pizza.
Okay.
But for being in Austin, Dogtown will suffice. The cheese isn't as plasticky or smoky, but it's still pretty good.
I mean, it's like having, queso that's made out of Velveeta that like that plasticky taste is delicious.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like, it's very, it looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, that's a perfect rendition. Yes.
Thin and very
crispy.
thin crust.
And it's an amazing homage to St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah, and I grew up probably 2.5 hours south of St. Louis.
Okay.
And even where I grew up, you can't get this pizza. Like, it is really concentrated in St. Louis.
All right. We'll
So
have to go to Central Market tomorrow because
I would.
I'm kind of hungry. Like,
Yeah.
That sounds really, really good. So, okay, so we're talking about St. Louis, and you're now in. What brought you? And your wife is from the
Yep.
area.
So
what brought y'all to Austin?
My wife took a job at Whole Foods Corporate
Okay,
in 2020.
cool.
So
2020 rough.
we moved here in January. We were so excited about exploring the city and meeting new friends. And then I got here in March, and we were locked in for the better part of 2 years.
Right.
So really, Easton Park is our first foray into meeting people and really learning about Austin.
Okay.
So I feel like we had a do-over when we got our house in 2022.
Sure.
Of being, friendly and being able to get out and meet people.
Yeah. And is your wife still with Whole Foods?
She's not. She actually works for Compass Realty now.
Oh, very cool.
She works for the corporate office.
Good for
So
her.
she works, her office technically is in New York, but she works here and divides her time and goes to New York every once in a while.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I've heard great things about working for Whole Foods at any level.
Yeah, and she still has lots and lots of friends at Whole Foods that she keeps up with. So
That's great.
Yeah, it wasn't any bad reason that she
Yeah.
left, and she still has lots of friends there.
That's great. Yeah, Whole Foods has always, at least in Austin, has been notoriously known for just being a really great place to work and
Absolutely,
very
yeah.
supportive from people working in the store. Like stocking to corporate. I've heard great things.
And we, she got to be very close with a few people who actually still come to, or who do come to the dinner party.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So if you're talking about Whole Foods and you're at the dinner party, you'll probably meet someone that has worked there or still does work there.
That's great. So people outside of Easton Park are also coming to the dinner club.
They're usually a friend of a friend that comes.
Cool.
We do try to keep it within Easton Park.
Sure.
Because technically it is the Easton Park Dinner Club.
Sure.
But if you bring a friend, there's no way that
saying,
you're going to show
"Excuse me."
Right.
You can't come in here.
Right. Now, if you put it in the Austin Chronicle that we're having a dinner party, that might be a little much.
Right.
But if you're bringing a friend from out of town or from, even on the other end of Austin.
Sure.
Yeah, they're absolutely welcome.
Yeah, we're I do have a funny story about, and I've been saving it for the end, and I will tell you. But with the poker club, people, people bring friends and people come from. It's funny because you always know when someone's not from Easton Park when we're playing poker because they'll knock on the glass because they can't because the door's locked.
Oh yeah.
But we love to have people from outside of Easton Park. There's a world outside of Easton Park.
There is.
Even though we really don't need to leave for much.
Right.
It's just such a micro economy and we love it here.
Absolutely.
And supporting the businesses and all. It's just really, really fun. But I think to end this, and then we'll get into food talk.
Sure.
I will tell you about the story of when we hosted
I'm here for it.
supper dinner club. I can't remember. We were calling it dinner club or supper club at one point, but it was going around to people's houses. We had just started our business, and we had I think it was barbecue was what we were hosting, and we did not barbecue. We went and we decided to do a brisket challenge.
I love it.
So we got Franklin's, La Barbecue, and Valentina's, I think. And we did it for many years. Franklin's won year over year. Blind taste test. Franklin's is, I think, the best. But anyway, it was supposed to just be for Easton Park. It was like the dinner club that we had all known each other for a really long time at this point. But Steve and I decided to invite all of our work friends as well. And it turned out, what was normally a 20 or 30 person event, we had probably 60-ish people.
Wow.
And everyone, but we didn't really tell anyone either way because we were like, it's our house.
Sure.
We can invite people. And it ended up really being we call it the Moss Mixer. We just had our 6th annual, which we're really proud of. But we had most of the neighborhood and all of our work colleagues and potential clients. And it was just such a mixed bag of it was not what dinner club was supposed to be, which was fine. I mean, everyone was very polite about it, but and most of our colleagues were like, is this a family dinner? And we were kind of some people brought food, and we had brought a bunch of people who didn't bring food, who were eating the food, and it was a good time, but it was certainly a bastardized version of what the dinner club was supposed to be. And I don't think we hosted after that. And shortly after, we then started having them at the Union. So
gotcha. That is something that we have learned through doing dinner club is that you can have the best of intentions of what you think an event is going to be. And then it will turn into something. And it doesn't mean that it turns into something bad.
Right.
But it just means that, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's fun, but this is very different than what I thought it was going to be.
Yes. I remember at one point, Martha was like, what's happening? Who are all these people? We were like, it's a work event. It's great. We're bringing people together.
Well, and it is, as you probably know now, it is weird to be in your own home and to look around and think, I don't know anybody here.
Right.
But that's also fun to me because I want to get to know everyone. And in Oktoberfest, we had lots of new people that were there. And I was like, okay, lots of strangers. And that's okay, that's neat. Also kind of scary, but that's also neat.
Yeah.
So I got to meet a lot of new people. And I'm sure you did too at your mixer that you had, the Moss Mixer you called it.
Yeah, which was our first ever, I guess. But that wasn't the intention of the dinner club. But we kind of, I don't know, we railroaded it and it was what it was, but it is fun. And I think that there's something really cool about Easton Park that I've noticed going to anyone's house is everyone's just kind of inherently comfortable. We've had people, and I love it. I want when anyone comes into our home, I want you to, if you're I will of course host and make people comfortable, but I love when people come over and just make themselves at home and find a cup and, help themselves and sit down on the couch and just get cozy. I love that. And it seems that Easton Park even if you don't know people get comfortable really fast. And
For sure.
I think that's really cool.
And that's one of the really cool things about Dinner Party that I have learned is we have a lot of different people from a lot of different cultures that come. And, you know, what is culturally appropriate as far as becoming comfortable in someone's home.
Right.
To you and I being, you know, born and bred Americans, to someone that is European or from the Asian continent or wherever, you know, it's very different for them. And so it's just been really neat to understand all of these cultural norms and to learn them, that they're like, well, I can't come in your, like, for instance, I can't come into your home with my shoes on like that. No, I have to take them off. And I'm like, no, please, it's really okay.
Yeah, or take them off if that makes you comfortable.
Yeah, if it makes you feel comfortable, come on in. We have cold floors, but if you're okay with that, then it's cool.
Right, and everyone else is wearing shoes, so it might, you know, whatever.
Exactly,
but not that you should do it because other people just maybe if they're barefoot, you know.
Toes might get stepped on.
Right, exactly. That's where I was going with that. Not any other way than that. But so this has been so much fun, Jonathan.
It has been. I've had a good time.
Yes, we are gonna do we're gonna talk about food in a different segment that people really like to watch. However, thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Easton Park Talk. And if you haven't been to the dinner club or seen the dinner club, they can find you on Facebook.
They can, and we also have a new website.
A whole website?
A whole new website.
What is that?
It is dinnerclubatx.com.
Check them out.
So yeah, go there. That's where you'll RSVP. We hope to have a blog. And also, if anyone is interested in, I've been thinking about this, guest blogging for family recipes that you've got as the holidays are coming up, or just anything that food related that you'd like to write about, shoot me an email, shoot me a message on Facebook, let me know, because I would love to have our website have a little bit more content.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. And
You're
we
welcome.
will see you all next time.